Hello, YouTubers. Welcome to Level-Headed News. This is your host, Brenda. I have breaking news for you this morning, and hopefully YouTube will cooperate with me. I seem to be having some technical difficulties this morning. There are two articles in this. Both URLs are in the description of the video for your convenience. The first article is off of timesofisrael.com, and it says, 4 killed as driver plows truck into troops in Jerusalem terror attack. 15 more injured in ramming attack at Arman Promenade. Driver of vehicle identified as East Jerusalem man shot to death. Video shows truck reversing to run into a group the second time. And hang on just a second while I see if I can calm my co-host. Be rather vocal this morning. Let's see what we can do here about him. Okay, he seems to be quieted down for the moment. So let's see if we can scroll this article up here a little bit and get this read to you. Truck rammed into a group of soldiers on the promenade in Arman Hanovid's neighborhood of Jerusalem, killing at least 4 of them in a vehicle ramming attack on Sunday afternoon, police said. Police Chief Arani called the incident a vehicular terror attack. The soldiers were getting off a bus at the promenade in a popular tourist spot in southern Jerusalem when a large flatbed truck ran into them. 4 people were injured, 2 of them very seriously, according to Jerusalem hospitals. 3 women and 1 man who died were in their 20s, David Adam Rescue Service said. According to police, the terrorist accelerated as he struck the group. Eyewitnesses said he hit the soldiers with the truck. He put the vehicle in reverse and ran over them a second time. Taken from security cameras showed the truck run into a group of soldiers as they stood next to a bus. The driver then attempts to turn the truck around and run over the group again as people scramble for cover. And there is video in this if you'd care to pull that up to take a look at it. It is rather graphic. The driver of the vehicle was shot by both soldiers and by a civilian, said. He died of his wounds. Fraction of a second during which I was speaking with one of the officers, I saw the truck plowing into us. After a few rolls on the grass, I saw the truck start to reverse, and then I already understood that this was not an accident. I felt that my pistol was still on me, so I ran up to him and started emptying my clip. He went in reverse again and drove over the injured, the guide Itan Rond said. And let's see, scroll it up a little bit. It says, speaking to Israeli television, Rond questions why soldiers hesitated turning on their own weapons on the driver. I have to ask why it took a 30-year-old civilian to fire first, he said, when there were well-armed officers present. He asserted that last week's conviction for manslaughter of soldier Elor Azaria, who shot dead a disarmed, injured Palestinian assailant, was definitely a factor in the ostensible hesitation. An initial IDF inquiry showed that at least 2 to 3 soldiers opened fire from close range and are thought to be the ones who killed the terrorist. Iran, the driver of the bus, told Army radio that a group of soldiers was standing with their bags near the bus. I had just let them off into a group of soldiers, ran over them and kept going. The soldiers shot at the driver. He reversed and ran over them again. Leigh Schreiber, one of the guides for the group of soldiers, told reporters that the bus had reversed and run over the bodies again. I was explaining of Jerusalem. I saw soldiers shouting and screaming. Some of the soldiers started shooting. It took some time to kill the driver, so he was able to reverse. The whole thing took maybe a minute and a half, Schreiber said. At first, it was not clear if this was an accident or deliberate attack, but Schreiber said she understood it was a terror attack when they started shooting at him. Victims were trapped under the truck after the incident, according to Magdan, David Adam, paramedic on the scene. were visiting the capital as part of the Army's Cultural Sundays, which troops are taken to important historical and national sites at the beginning of the week. According to Ben Zwei Institute, which led the trip for the Army, the soldiers were cadets from the IDF's officers training course, but from non-combat units. Of the truck was identified as Fadi al, a resident of the capital's Jabal Mukabir neighborhood, according to Arab media. The truck, with Israeli license plates, came from the direction of that neighborhood, which is adjacent to the promenade. 20s, married with 4 children, and had served time in Israeli jail, Channel 2 said. He had only brought the truck recently. One seriously injured soldier was sent to Sher Zedek Hospital. She was unconscious, and doctors were attempting to stabilize her condition, a spokesperson for the hospital said. 4 victims who were lightly injured were also sent to Sherek Zedek Hospital said. 9 victims were sent to Hadish Hospital, 1 in serious condition, 2 in moderate condition, and 6 lightly wounded. Victims who were lightly injured sent to Hadassah Hospital, Mount Scorpus, the hospital said. Immediate claim of responsibility, but the Hamas terror group praised the attack as heroic. Hamas spokesman Sam lauded the attack on his Facebook page, saying, "These operations demonstrate that all attempts to bypass the resistance or to thwart it will fail every time. Palestinian assailants have used every vehicle ramming. Palestinian assailants have used vehicle rammings as a method for terror attacks for years, and the method seemed to have been adopted by European jihadists in recent months, including the attack in Berlin, left 12 dead, including an Israeli woman. Less than an hour after the attack, a Jerusalem court imposed a gag order on the investigation. Shavor Promenade is in a southern location that offers panoramic view over Jerusalem and the Old City. In May, 2 elderly women were stabbed and moderately injured in a park below the promenade, in which police said was a terror attack. Second article that I have, if we can get it to cooperate, here we go, is off of Israeli Video Network, and there is video in this, and it is disturbing video, so if you pull it up, be warned. It says 4 are dead, 1 critically wounded, and 10 lightly wounded as a truck rammed into a group of soldiers in the IDF officers training course near the promenade of Amman Ha-Nabatiz in Jerusalem just before 1:30 p.m. Sunday afternoon. The soldiers were getting off the bus when the truck rammed into them. According to Channel 10 News, Arab passers who witnessed the fatal attack stood and applauded. Those following Israeli news is familiar with the recent conviction of Sergeant Elor Azaria by a military panel of judges for his shooting of a subdued terrorist in Hebron. A majority of Israeli society is extremely upset by this ruling and afraid that it will instill fear in IDF soldiers in shooting terrorists when necessary. Who accompanied the IDF cadets on their visit to Haman Hanatabiz in Jerusalem Sunday afternoon told Army radio that they hesitated to shoot at the truck as it was speeding in their direction. He attributed their fateful pause to the recent military court ruling against Sergeant Elor Azaria. So there you have the news. In case you just tuned in and is wondering what this is all about, 4 killed as a driver plows into troops in Jerusalem in a terror attack today. If you like what we do, give it a thumbs up, share it on your social media so everybody gets to hear the news. Don't forget to subscribe. Click that little bell next to the subscribe button and check the box so you get email messages every time I put a show up. And Fred and I hope you have a wonderful day.